to the people that was on the campaign trail with her. But one thing odd about this video, it looks like she was inebriated. I'm going to have you take a look at this video and you give me your own opinion about this video. So we're going to discuss that. Also, there's a lot of things that's been going on within the DNC camp. We want to discuss that today. We got some things about the Ukraine war. I forgot to discuss that yesterday, but we do have some updates on the Ukraine war. We also have some updates on the Israel and Hamas conflict. We're going to talk about that. Okay, so you guys stay tuned all on another episode of Business Talks.
Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad.
You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Noble Young in the building. What is good with you, Noble Young? Girls, y'all need to let me in them bathrooms. Oh, I hope not. I hope we're not doing that. I see we have Justin Thompson in the building. Justin, it's great to see you again. You guys, if you're not subscribed to my other channel, is Chawanne Burns 2.0. I do a podcast with Miss Super Producer, and we're on live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you're not tuned in for that, we always talk about some exciting things on that show. So make sure you subscribe to that channel. I see we have Kennard the DJ. What is good, Kennard? Rosalie Mercury. Thank you for tuning in. Kennard saying she was off the E and J. Yes, she was off the E and J. Tyrone Price is saying hello from South Carolina. U.S. reporting this year Ukraine received $183 billion. Yes, they have. My last calculation was 176, but that was prior to them giving them another $10 billion in aid for something. And now they're asking, actually Joe Biden is asking for another $45 billion. And it's some other stuff. But when we talk about it, we're going to talk about it. Okay. It's some crazy stuff that he's requesting for Zelensky to do. I think it's outrageous for you to send people over to Ukraine or even the Ukrainian people to fight this war that is it's not a winning war. Okay. There's no ends to any means over there. So it's kind of almost pointless. And I believe there's other things that they're looking into, or a reason why this war is happening. It's some other stuff that they want to get into. I mean, it's of course we could say oil and some minerals. I think it's like some in one of the territories that they're fighting over. I think it's they have some minerals that I don't know if U.S. wants to have privy to, but I'm doing some research and it's starting to look like it's just a money grab type thing. Just like when George Bush sent the troops over because he claims it was weapons of mass destruction. And, they kept on repeating this on the airways, spreading this propaganda. And coming to find out, there were no weapons of mass destruction, and he never said weapons of mass destruction. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was maybe about 15, 20 years ago, whenever George Bush was around, but it was a long time ago. But that Afghan war, Afghanistan, we were over there literally since Trump got in office. We had some type of military presence, and then now Joe Biden tried to pull out, and it was a whole debacle because he pulled out his troops first instead of pulling out the essential workers and all the people that were supposed to be fleeing the country. Anyway, Gary Williams, thank you for tuning in. And Ultra 80, it's always great to see you tuning in from Chicago. Okay, you guys, let's get started. This video, I'm warning you guys, this video is funny. This video is funny. And because, I found the raw footage. They went online, and I'm saying DNC, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and this individual, I guess she's one of the ones that didn't get fired, but she went online, and I guess maybe they did a Zoom conference call, and it's like, oh, thank you for your support. So, and this individual, she starts off the call meeting, and it's a virtual meeting held with Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. It's an event for their supporters. One thing odd about this event, I know she has to read numbers and, just the state statistics, but it's read verbatim. Even after the campaign, they still lack the authenticity, if I'm saying that right, authentic person, to just to be yourself. So this whole spiel that she's talking about, she's reading a script. Anyway, so this is her. I don't know what this girl's name is, but she's going to introduce herself. We're going to listen to her just for a snippet. I just want to let you guys hear how scripted this was too. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Pennsylvania. It was the honor of my life to work for Governor Tim Walz and Vice President Harris. And I'm honored to have been able to do this work shoulder to shoulder with all of you. Thank you for committing your time and resources to supporting Governor Walz and Vice President Harris with me. Although this was not the result we worked for, we know that our work made a difference this cycle. Together, across the country, we had 408,971 volunteers who completed 1,501,805 shifts. And all of those shifts got us to knock on 19,686,314 doors, as well as make 219,514,653 phone calls.
One of the great responsibilities.
Okay, so you saw that, and it was very scripted. She was reading off something. I don't think she was, really into it, but does she sound excited? No, of course they're not going to be excited because they lost. And I guess if she's still working for DNC, this probably was a forced call. Like, oh, do this Zoom conference meeting and, read what we tell you to read. If I was DNC, yes, keep it positive, keep it upbeat, because we know Kamala Harris might run again. So you want to still make sure that you are, instilling like a faith and hope for the DNC party. But so it was scripted, and I don't know if people are appreciate. If I was on the call, I'm like, is she reading the script? Why don't she just go? Okay, I know we gotta make these points across, or get our point across, and tell people, how much impact we had. But why do we have to read the script? So it's very disingenuous, actually. And so she goes on and talk about, blah, blah, blah. Then she brings Tim Walz on. He looks like he's been crying. I'm just going to play a little bit of him. Actually, Tim Walz gets to talking about Donald Trump. I guess this is what they're trying to play, but you lost. So it's like, what is your point now? I mean, you could talk about Donald Trump, but he's still your president too. He's your president. People are killing me because they're saying, oh, that's not my president. If you live in the United States, he's your president too. And it doesn't matter any impact that President Trump's have or has, and any impact or anything that he does, positive or negative impact, it's going to affect you. Positive or negatively, it still will affect you. So you could just say, oh, it's not my president. Yeah, he is your president. You might have not voted for him, but as long as you live on the U.S. land, he's your president. And you have to abide by whatever laws they might put forth or whatever. You're not I guess, immune to any of the things that they might enact. Okay. So anyway, this is Tim Walz.
I can't express my deep gratitude to you. Personally, of being on this ticket was the privilege of a lifetime to be with Vice President Harris. But as an American, to see you out there and to see the work that you did, to know that you put your heart, your soul, your time, your talent, your treasure into something bigger than yourselves, the promise of this country, a place where everyone belongs, where no one needs to go hungry or be unsheltered, and where differences of opinion can be celebrated and differences of ideas. And you put that out there and you worked hard for it. And for that, I am forever grateful. I also recognize the emotions you're going through. And I share those with you. As the vice president often says, we weren't running against something, we were running for something. And to watch the joy, the vision, the compassion, the decency that the vice president brought to this, and that each and every one of you reflected every place we went, the caring and the sense of joy. I know it's incredibly disappointing now, and look, candidly, it's a bit scary because there's a very different vision that's being put out there. But now more than ever, we need the light to shine through. We need to be able to be that hope for the neighbor who's really wondering. We need to be that anchor for the folks who are wondering what's next. And each of you did the work. You took time out of your busy lives and you continue to do it. And it makes a difference. On the campaign trail, I would ask, there will be a day of reckoning when it will be asked, what did you do during the 2024 campaign? Well, I know the people on this call can say everything they possibly could. And
it ain't gonna be no day of reckoning. Shut up. These people are batshit crazy. Now, I mean, I don't want to bore you with Tim Walz. He does look like he was drunk too. Why is his face so red? I mean, it's winter in Minneapolis or Minnesota. So why? Is he in Minnesota or in Wisconsin? Oh yeah, Minnesota. But yeah, why is your face so red? Don't know, and I really don't understand. So this is Kamala Harris.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter.
Kamala Harris is the epitome of, look at her face, the epitome of a drunk mom. It's like, if drunk mom was a person, this would be Kamala Harris. Well, we could call her, she's 60, so she probably would be a grandma now. But if drunk, and why is she doing that? What is that about? I don't understand that. She got her tongue partially stuck out, and then she's smiling. But wait till you hear her. It's like really bad.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Back at you, brother. You are such an extraordinary leader, and we have become lifelong friends. I just, in front of everyone, I want to thank you, Tim. You lead with courage you lead with heart. You see the people, you care about the people. You believe in uplifting the dignity to which all people are entitled, and you do it and you have a sense of fun when you're doing it. But you are an extraordinary leader, and obviously the people of Minnesota are very, very lucky to have you there. But you are a national leader and a dear friend, and thank you. Noel, thank you for your work in Pennsylvania and all that you did for our campaign. And let me just say to everyone on this call, I am so grateful for you, and I'm so thankful to you. I'm thankful for your love of our country and your willingness to put the work into it. I'm thankful for the faith that you put in me and Governor Walz and our team. And I am thankful because I know your character is such that you're not going to get knocked down. And you're in this fight. And you're in it for all the right reasons. And I know that about you. It's why you're part of this call right now and all the work that you did over those 107 days and even before. That's your nature. And the outcome of this election obviously is not what we wanted. It is not what we worked so hard for. But I am proud of the race we ran. And your role in this was critical. What we did in 107 days was unprecedented. Think about the coalition that we...
What you guys did in 107 days was unprecedented. You spent over $1.4 billion and still lost. So people need to really think about that. That's crazy.
Built, and we were so intentional about that. You would hear me talk about it all the time. Being a daughter of parents who are active in the civil rights movement, I know and believe that the best movements that are about progress in our country mean that it's leaders that we are dedicated to the coalition, to bringing people together that seemingly have nothing in common, but have everything in common. A coalition where we bring people together based on a deep love of our country and our understanding that the strength of our country will be a function of our willingness to put in the work, and that we will do that work with a sense of joy, yes, with a sense of work ethic and understanding it's going to be hard, but it's good work. It's good work. To be engaged in a collective fight for America's future. And it means so much to me and to Governor Walz that you knocked on doors, you called friends, you called in favors. You said, hey, I showed up at your softball game, now I need you to show up at the campaign office. You put in the time, it was personal for you. And you gave all that you could to support our campaign. Because of your efforts, get this, we raised an historic $1.4 billion, almost $1.5 billion from grassroots supporters alone, the most in presidential campaign history. Nearly 8 million donors contributed an average donation of about $56 to fuel our people-powered campaign.
If you haven't...
So you guys put in the chat, let me know, do you think Kamala Harris was inebriated during that speech? It's about 10 minutes, 10 more minutes. She talked about 15 minutes, probably the longest that she probably ever talked before. But you guys put in the chat. Let me know what you thought about that. I could say that you got to forgive this internet. It looks like it's going slow. But I could say that Kamala Harris I don't know why it's glitching out, you guys. Okay. I could say I know is the internet is glitching, so that's why I'm pausing. I could say Kamala Harris, I don't know if she was drunk or just really sad, but it did look suspicious, and now the internet is kind of roasting her. I saw somebody did a meme of her where she's holding a bottle and talking, to she's talking during the speech and she holding a bottle of Hennessy. So I mean, they lighten her up on the internet. This is Let me just share this with you. Hopefully it don't be glitching out.
Have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. Don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. Don't you ever let anybody take your power from you.
So yeah, they lighten her up. This guy named Polity Rican. So Polity Rican. And all he does is create memes. So it's funny how they're saying Kamala Harris was drunk. Anyway, enough about Kamala Harris, what she's saying to her supporters. Now, I just want to touch on what's going on in Kamala Harris camp. Now, there was, and I talked about this in prior videos. Now, they're always, even with Democrats and Republicans, they always have what you call an internal polling data. They look at different candidates and to see, okay, do they have a chance of winning? With incumbent presidents, they look to see, hey, what's their approval rating? And also if they're past the 2 terms, so they got to pick somebody else to run, they look at internal polling data. Now, Harris aides, somebody's finally admitting, and it says Harris aides says internal polling data never had her ahead of Trump. All this time they knew that Kamala Harris had no chance in hell to win. They posted this. This was posted yesterday, okay? This is from the Washington Examiner. It says the leadership of outgoing Vice President Kamala Harris 2024 president campaign said the internal polling data never had her ahead of President-elect Trump. After President Joe Biden began lagging heavily behind Trump in the polls in June and July, the entrance of Harris appeared to solve Democrats' problem. From August until right before the election, a great many accredited polls had Harris leading. They had her leading, and we saw it. Even the one lady from Des Moines, Iowa, she ended up quitting. She retired because of the miscalculation of Kamala Harris. She said Kamala Harris was going to win by 6 points. And remember, I was laughing at that. I thought that was hysterical and comical. But she put that out. I forget what her name is, Jen or something. But anyway, whatever her name was, she put that out like it was fact. And then some of the, I don't know what, I think it was ABC, they actually showed it on the news like it was something true. Okay. And So just total embarrassment for the DNC party. We didn't get breaks we needed on the election, he said in an appearance on the Pod Save American podcast. Who was this? David Plouffe or David Plouffe. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I think it was a surprise people because there was these public polls that came out late September, early October, showing us leads that we never saw. And Plouffe added that the internal polling didn't change much throughout the election, remaining most static since Harris joined the race in July of 2024. Okay, so they're saying that the internal polling data was never ahead, but the polling data that we saw was saying that Kamala Harris had some type of lead, but it wasn't a good lead. It was like 1 or 2 points. I think the most steam or most oomph she got was when she debated Donald Trump. And I think people expected her to do bad or horrible, and she did not. She wasn't, it wasn't no smoking gun, but it wasn't the worst performance that she's ever given. Okay. And that's why she wanted to debate Trump again or put more dates on the schedule. And he was like, no, I'm not about to debate 3 people at once. Anyway. So they disclosed other premonitions of the disaster, such as anticipating Florida going further for Republicans than before the Virginia going dangerously close to Republicans. Overall, Harris' campaign leadership portrayed the race as doomed from the start, saying there wasn't much Harris could have done to change the outcome. The comments on the video of the podcast on YouTube were heavily against the guests. This interview was absolutely bananas. They admit zero fault. What a disaster, one commenter wrote. And the long and the short of it is that none of these people should ever run for national campaign ever again. The Obama era is over, another person said. And the internal panic from Harris' campaign was unknown publicly, helping contribute to the widespread perception that the race was a toss-up. Remember, people were saying, oh, it's so close. All the legacy liberal media saying, oh, it's a toss-up. Even you have some commentary or people on Fox saying, oh, it's a tie, it's a very close race. But everybody knew that if you was on social media, if you had your ears to the ground, everyone knew that it was going to be a red wave. I mean, it's undeniable. You couldn't deny this red wave that was going to come through. Think they actually thought, and I'm saying these liberal people actually thought they had a chance. And I think it does them a disservice because you're lying saying, oh, we got a chance to win this fight, instead of saying, hey, we are down. This is the fourth quarter. What are we going to do? And they could have pivoted what they were supposed to do or their campaign strategy, but they didn't even give her a chance. They just like, oh, we don't think she going to win. So, oh, well, let her F her up the $1.4 billion and she could go somewhere. Go bye-bye somewhere, Kamala. We don't ever have to see her again. Now, Kamala Harris thinks she has a chance to, in the political realm. She thinks she actually have chances to get in politics again. And I don't think so, Kamala. Because there is saying it's a rumor. Now, this is a rumor. Okay, so this is just a rumor. Okay, they're thinking that Kamala Harris is going to put her in her hat to either run for the governor race in California or she's going to run for the 2028 presidential election. Harris is telling her advisors and allies to keep her political options open. Okay, Kamala Harris has been lying low since her defeat in the presidential election, but privately, the vice president has been instructing advisors and allies to keep her options open, whether for a possible 2028 presidential run or even to run for governor in her home state of California in 2 years. As Harris has repeated in phone calls, I am staying in the fight. She is expected to explore those and other possible paths forward with family members over the winter holiday season. According to 5 people in the Harris inner circle. She doesn't have to decide if she wants to run for something again in the next 6 months. And so the natural thing to do would to be set up some type of entity that would give her the opportunity to travel and give speeches and preserve her political relationship. Most immediately, Harris and her advisors are working to define how, when she will speak out against Trump to reassert her role in the Democratic Party. Stop it right there. You don't need to reassert anything. You need to go away. And your party needs to tell you to go away. But I'm pretty sure you got all these black folks. Oh, we're there with you, Kamala. We're there for you. But you don't have the support of, the full party, because you basically lied. Actually, the Democratic Party basically lied to your supporters, or their supporters, because some people just vote Democrat. Their supporters in whole, because they were telling them, we have a fighting chance, or you had a fighting chance and you didn't have no chance in hell, and they was giving you money out the wazoo. And then you blew it. So I guess she's trying to, maybe in 6 months, she'll come out against Donald Trump, like they said, to insert herself as a Powerball. Why? This article I found, and it's hilarious. I just found this article, and it says, please run for something again, Kamala. We need a laugh. We need a laugh. We need a laugh. No, stop it. You need to go home. Let me just get to some of your comments. Sandy, thank you. I hope you have an amazing holiday as well. We have somebody on Twitch. Hey, OP Man Bros, what's up? Dan is saying, never underestimate what the voters of California will do to themselves. Exactly. I was about to say that. I wouldn't put it past her that she could actually win in California. I don't think nothing could be worse than Gavin Newsom. As President Trump calls him, Gavin Newsom. I don't think nothing will be worse than him. Even that mayor that got unseated, I don't know if she got unseated or they did a recall on her in San Francisco. I don't think nothing could be worse than those two. Gavin Newsom hasn't he been the governor? How long Gavin Newsom been the governor? For about 20 years, right? I just want to look it up. Oh, no, not 20 years. But he's been the governor since 2019. He was the lieutenant governor of California from 2011 to 2019. He was the 42nd mayor of San Francisco. I didn't know that. Of 2004 and 2011. So, their Democrat is probably trying to strategize if Kamala goes back to governor, I think governor would be a step down from VP. I think it will be, but maybe not. She could control her own state, and it's like presidency, but it's not. You just got one state to worry about. So Gavin Newsom could come in and run, but he has no chance in hell, because if he's running against JD Vance, and I'm assuming that's who will be the next person for the Republican Party, yeah, you don't have no chance in hell. And his record is horrible. His record is horrible running. He basically ran California to the ground. And they need to do an audit. They keep on throwing money at this homeless crisis. I just heard he got another $8 billion for homelessness. And they continue to get more homeless people in the state of California. So I don't know if Democrats will be, they need a miracle to get back in the game. Because right now all their players suck. And he's way, 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 way too liberal. I think he's worse than Kamala Harris, because now he has this thing where he wants to make RVs EV vehicles, and they don't have the infrastructure for RVs to be like EV. It doesn't, EV or RV vehicles are meant to travel long range, travel. And they're saying the battery lifespan of on these EV vehicles is like 120 miles. It's like you can't go nowhere. So and this is what I'm saying. Gavin Newsom is like the worst leader that we have in the United States of America. I think he's probably one of the worst governors. The worst governors. And we could compare him to Rick Snyder. I don't know if you guys remember Rick Snyder with the whole Flint water crisis. And I guess Rick Snyder ended up resigning or not running again. But the Flint water crisis, and they still struggling on the Flint water crisis. Those pipes still have not been replaced. And they tried to tie Rick Snyder. I think his name was Rick Snyder. That was the Michigan governor. But they tried to tie him, saying he knew. Rick Snyder. They tried to tie him, saying he knew about the things that was going on in Flint, and he just ignored it. He ignored it for months. They found emails, and he escaped that, prosecution. Now, one thing I do not appreciate Governor Gretchen Whitmer is because of the Flint water crisis. I think Dana Nessel and Governor Gretchen, they kind of messed up the whole process of getting Flint people their due justice, because it's a debacle. Those people that suffered immensely, they still haven't saw justice. Some of those people are even dead, because they died of Legionnaire disease or some type of cancer, and they denied their claim, and all kinds of debacle, and nobody was prosecuted for this event. They just basically let it go away. Anyway, back to Gavin Newsom. I think he's probably one of the worst governors in the history of the United States of America. You guys put in the chat, let me know what you think about that. But I think he does not have a chance in hell. I think he's probably worser than Kamala Harris. But as far as the intellectual, maybe he's more intellectual than Kamala Harris, but I don't see it. I mean, his track record is horrible. Anyway, so she's putting her word out to, hey, run for, I guess, governor or 2020 campaign. And now you have people like, yeah, we need a great laugh. I wish I wish you would run for this so we could start laughing at you. Please run again for something so we could have a laugh. Anyway, and that, I think that's embarrassing for people to write that about you and your whole campaign. And I don't think DNC would trust her. Another thing about DNC before I go on to our next topic, it's saying DNC union launches a GoFundMe to help former staff hit by massive layoffs after election losses. And I heard that they cut 2/3 of their staff. So 66 or almost 70% of your people, they end up cutting. I thought we had a video, but this is glitching. Let me just read some of this. It says the union representing members of the National Democratic Committee launched a GoFundMe to raise money for staffers who were abruptly laid off last week, prompting backlash from those still on the DNC payroll who have described the cuts as a betrayal of party values. The GoFundMe created the DNC union seeks to raise $25,000 to assist staff impacted by the layoffs. Do you think that's enough money? Just $25,000? Okay. Members of the DNC staff union said that the fundraiser page that the abrupt waves of layoffs had held 2/3 of the DNC staffers who were let go with little notice and no severance. In a public statement, the union blasted DNC leadership for the layoffs, which they described as callous and short-sighted, and which they noted extended to employees who were previously told their position at the DNC would be safe after Election Day. It says, we are broken-hearted to see our colleagues who dedicated countless hours to electing Democrats up and down the ballot depart under these circumstances, and we are furious with DNC leadership for failing to provide severances to those affected. If you really think about it, so the campaign funds probably would have been used for that purpose, right? And since she tapped it out, they probably don't have any more campaign funds to use for that purpose. And it says DNC staff union organizer Jill Brownfield wrote on the GoFundMe page. DNC union official said the relief fund would directly aid staff members hit by the layoffs, including single parents, workers expecting children, and will be distributed equally to any laid off members who opts to receive funds. We hope these funds can soften the economic blow for those impacted. I think it's kind of callous for them to lay them off, and they're thinking that they'll have a job, and especially without no severance pay. But like I said, I'm not surprised by this. They're touting, protect workers, and this is the DNC. This is their whole shtick, right? Protect workers. We believe in union values, blah blah blah, and you really don't. You don't believe in paying your people, because you just proved that you don't believe in balancing no budget. You just believe in spending money frivolously. Okay. You guys let me know what you think about that. I think it's kind of funny that they got a GoFundMe account to raise money. It, to me, is really ridiculous. And they're calling it a massive layoffs. Fox put on here, they said, thank you for nothing. Thanks for nothing. Like, come on now. Thank you for nothing. Trump mocks Harris platitudes during the battleground stop. Let me know if you guys can hear this. I think this is an old video. Anyway, this is an old video. I don't know why it's so old, because they got this title up there. So our next topic, before, like I said, put in the comments, let me know what you think. My computer is glitching out, so you guys gotta bear with me, because it's like running really slow. I don't know why is it running so slow. I'm going to try to close out some of these. Okay. I don't know why it's moving so slow, you guys. Anyway, this next topic, we're going to discuss Joe Biden. Joe Biden is trying to take credit for this ceasefire he claims that he negotiated. Okay. Joe Biden says Israel and Lebanon agreed to ceasefire. Why say Lebanon? You mean, I guess, Lebanon, the Palestinians? Biden says Israel and Lebanon agreed to ceasefire. President Joe Biden announced Tuesday that Israel and Lebanon had agreed to a deal brokered by the U.S. to end the devastating conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. And they're saying the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, after more than a year of fighting. Biden, in remarks delivered from the White House Rose Garden, said that he just spoke to the Israel Prime Minister and Lebanon caretaker Prime Minister. And under the deal reached today, affected at 4 a.m. tomorrow local time, the fighting across the Lebanese-Israel border will end. This designed to be a permanent cessation of hostilities, says Biden. Biden said over the next 60 days, Israel will gradually withdraw its forces and Lebanon militaries will deploy to take control of their territory. Hezbollah, he said, will not be allowed to rebuild their infrastructure or threaten the security of Israel. And this is probably why he said it's up to Israel not Israel, but Hezbollah for the next step. It's Biden is saying we are determined this conflict will not be just another cycle of violence. And so the United States will, with the full support of France and other allies, has pledged to work with Israel and Lebanon to ensure that this arrangement is fully implemented. Netanyahu said how long the ceasefire will last depends on what happens in Lebanon. He warned that any violation of the agreement will be met with forceful response from Israeli forces. I think Netanyahu is, he's kind of a hothead. I really do. I think he's like trigger happy. It says, switching gears to Gaza, Biden and the Palestinians also deserve an end to the fighting. The plague, the strip since Hamas terror attack on Israel on October the 7th. Far too many civilians in Gaza have suffered far too much, and Hamas has refused for months and months to negotiate a good faith ceasefire and a hostage deal, Biden said. And so now Hamas has a choice to make. Their only way out is to release the hostages, including American citizens, which they hold. In the process, bring an end to the fighting, which will make possible a surge of humanitarian relief. Biden said in the coming days that U.S. will make another push for a ceasefire deal in Gaza, along with Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, and Israel. The Israel-Hezbollah agreement, he argued, was the reminder peace is possible. And he said today's announcement brings us closer to realizing the affirmative agenda that we have been pushing forward during the entire presidency, during my entire presidency. A vision for the future in Middle East where it's at peace and prosperous and integrated across the borders. This is not new. I think, okay, Joe Biden, you negotiated a ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. Okay. Are we going to give them credit for that? No, they probably was willing to listen because Donald Trump is almost, he has 52 more days, and Donald Trump, the real sledgehammer, gonna be in charge. The real guy gonna be in charge. So they probably was more willing to come to the table, even with the Prime Minister of Israel. He's probably more willing to negotiate, but I forget what interview your girl was on, and he basically said, well, the prime minister is not listening. What can you say about that? And remember, they switched up her words, on this particular interview. And Kamala Harris, she had a word salad. But my point of saying this is, Israel is not listening to you because they don't respect you. And the only reason why they said, okay, maybe we should, tune it down or turn it down a notch is because Donald Trump has only 52 days before he actually takes leadership, and they don't want to be dealing with him on that end. Now, so that's that. So like I said, do we give Joe Biden credit for that? I wouldn't give him credit because I think he's, let me switch my ears. I think he's, really reaping the benefits of Joe Biden. Rosalie Mercury, can someone explain why they think she's viable to be in public office? She's not. She's not a viable person. Kamala Harris is not viable. I think Democrats need to come to the realization that reason why Joe Biden even won is because the hate and the vitriol of Donald Trump. He didn't win because he was just a good vice president. Joe Biden ran for presidency, I don't know how many times, and he's always lost. But he was riding the curtail of Obama. And it's funny. They chose Hillary Clinton over Joe Biden. And Joe Biden was the VP. You guys remember that? They had Joe Biden in office, and they didn't even choose him to be the VP. They chose or him to be the president or him to run because his probably internal polling data said he was going to lose. You know, against whoever. I don't know who else was up on the stand, but they chose Hillary Clinton. So, I mean, to think that Kamala Harris, and she's subpar, like way subpar than Joe Biden, to even think that she has a fighting chance is quite ridiculous. And exactly, Rosalie, fight what? Another dumb while broke in black. The vote of actors, not actual doers. Yeah. Millions vote on skin color alone, so there's no reason millions won't vote for nice hair as well. The RNC needs to get busy when it comes to Newsom. Just look at Trudeau in Canada. Nice hair and empty suit. I'm glad you point that out, because I don't know if you guys remember on The View when they were talking about Gavin Newsom and they were talking about the presidential run. Then they was throwing out names before Joe Biden said he was going to run again. Yeah.
I have some candy since I ate my lunch.
What candy? You talking about gum?
No, Sour Patch Kids.
So what?
Sour Patch Kids.
Where you can get that from? Where?
The cabinet.
What cabinet?
The drawer right there the counter where we...
I don't think it's none in there, but you could see.
Okay.
Sorry about that, kids home. But yeah, they're saying Gavin Newsom, you know, they were discussing about who will run for the next race and the presidential race. And they started talking about Gavin Newsom. And if you would have saw Sunny, her eyes lit up like, ooh, Gavin Newsom. Yeah, I love him. He is such a great guy. He is so handsome. And that hair. And it's like, yeah, he is a looker, but look at what he did to the state of California. You can't deny that the state of California is a mess. But I sit in the gated community, so I don't know. I'm, a media star, and I sit in this gated community. I don't go to the grocery store. I make over 7 figures, so I don't know the real pains of the American people. So, yeah, on the outside looking in, yeah, Gavin Newsom is great because any choices that he made, it don't directly affect me because I'm rich, okay? It don't directly affect me. So, of course, they're going to be touting Gavin Newsom. So, yeah, I appreciate this comment. It's an empty suit. Gavin Newsom is an empty suit, but he looks good. Gavin Newsom is a lefty Lucy. Newsom. Goosum. Funny. No one here in California will vote for Goosum or Kamala. I'm from California. Sandy is from California. No sound. Do you have sound now? I'm just a talking. Do you have sound? Gavin Newsom has 49%. No sound in the videos. Thank God I wasn't playing them, but okay. Cher is saying Hezbollah is a rogue government like the Taliban and ISIS, gang of killers who love power, not loyal to anyone. Palestinian fears their leaders. Exactly. And I feel sorry for the Palestinian people because when Hezbollah took over, or Hamas took over the Gaza Strip, people are afraid to deal or do business with the Palestinian people. And they can't even go nowhere because the Palestinian people, when they try to travel or maybe migrate to other countries, Some other countries don't even allow them to come over there because they might, they're thinking, oh, this might be a part of, Hezbollah or Hamas terrorist group. They might have a sleeper cell. So, and and this is why, if you hear some people saying, oh, we're in an open air prison. Well, they did elect that those people to be over there. It's not like they just came in and took over. No, they had an election and never had an election since. I think back in 2006, I think that's what they were saying. They elected people from Hamas, the Hamas gang or terrorist group to be over their government, or and then they never had an election ever since then. So essentially they are in a prison, but it's not because of Israel, it's because of Hamas. Moneybags is crying purple face. I don't know what that means. Biden doing all this at the last minute is an exercise of futility. They know Trump's coming back in. Exactly. Yeah. Rosalie, 1987, he ran. Yeah, 1987. I don't know if you guys ever seen the clip. They call him lying. And that ruined his chance. And he didn't run again until like later on. I think he ran with Obama, when Obama was in the race. When Hillary ran, all of us laughed because she couldn't keep her own husband or house under control. Newsom is Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Okay. I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure. I don't know. I don't see him as that, but you know what? I haven't paid attention enough to Gavin Newsom, the way he acts, to make that connection. But he might be a psychopath. He very well might be. Cher saying, Moneybags, you've been drinking honey. Probably so. Moneybags is a troll, so just ignore him. Rosalie, yup. Yeah, it was plagiarism. Yeah, it was plagiarism, and they had this woman on there saying, I don't know if I could trust him. He's stealing people's words. So that was hilarious. Anyway, so the next story, let me see if it comes up since my computer has been moving so slow. Now, a couple of days ago, Joe Biden gave permission, or he was talking about sending a nuclear warhead to Ukraine. Okay. And I don't know why he's trying to start a nuclear war, but this is, to me, it's kind of crazy. In this post, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why is it doing this, you guys? Marjorie Taylor Greene has suggested Biden administration is trying to start a nuclear war after she shared unconfirmed reports saying that the administration was considering sending nuclear weapons to Ukraine. Posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, Georgia representative, a strong supporter of President Trump, shared on the X account of Mario Norfol, who described the NBC News in 2023 as one of the ascendant alternative media stars. Okay, anyway. It says on his post, it says W2EF, U.S. wants to send or arm Ukraine with nukes before Biden leaves. It's jaw-dropping twist. Biden officially reported seriously considering giving nuclear weapons to Ukraine. And so she shared the post, and it's been viewed 300,000 times. This is insane and completely unconstitutional, possibly an act of treason. This must be stopped immediately. And the Biden admin trying to start a nuclear war and used it as a reason to stop the transfer of power to Trump. So there's been no announcements to confirm or deny if they're trying to send nuclear weapons to Ukraine. Okay, so don't know if it's true, but there was another post that I want to This is a fact check. Is Biden returning nuclear weapons to Ukraine? It says since Thursday, rumors that Biden administration could return nuclear weapons. Ukraine gave up in 1990s as a form of deterrence against Russia continuing its invasion. However, Kiev Post ascertained that it was extrapolating of a groundless claim made by some U.S. officials cited by the New York Times. And it says, what exactly did the official say? It says Trump vowed to end the war, could leave Ukraine with few options, discuss Western options to help Kiev defend itself ahead of Donald Trump's return to office. And it says one paragraph in the publication suggests that U.S. Joe Biden could return the nukes Ukraine relinquished in the 1990s under Budapest Memorandum. Here's the full paragraph. It says several officials even suggest that Mr. Biden could return nuclear warheads to Ukraine that were taken from it after the fall of Soviet Union. That would be an instant enormous deterrent, but such a step should be complicated and have serious implications. And then they go on talking about where did the nukes go. Ukraine ultimately transferred its nuclear arsenal to Russia in exchange for 100 tons of nuclear reactor fuels from Moscow and security guarantees from London, Washington, and Moscow. Ukraine's nuclear disarmament was completed by 1996. And it says after more posturing and delay, the first tragic warheads were loaded on a special train in February. And then they go in to talk about this Budapest Memorandum. And nobody can confirm or deny if this rumor or allegations are, or is it true? Is Joe Biden planning to send nuclear warheads to Ukraine? Well, we don't know. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I can't go off of her because, you know, she believes in some crazy stuff. And another thing, she's been caught of saying some stuff that's not really true. So we can't really go off of what she says. I like to hear from the horse's mouth or some insiders that knows about what's going on. So will they be sending nuclear warheads? I'm not for sure. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them, but I think that's a stretch. They've already agreed to let Ukraine use our missiles. So that's, you know, more than what we bargained for anyway. So nuclear warhead is really a stretch. You guys put it in chat. Let me know what you think. Okay, so That, and also there's another story about Joe Biden. And I told you guys wrong. I absolutely told you guys wrong. Joe Biden actually is asking for 25,000 or 25 million or $25 billion for Ukraine. That's what he's asking for. Why is this moving so slow? I don't like using Newsweek. I like using New York Post, but. And you see my computer is like super slow. I don't know if it's the streaming connection or just the internet. Anyway, Biden makes last ditch ask for Congress for $24 billion to help Ukraine. This is what. And they're lying. Once you start reading or listening to the media and to find out the things that they lie about, you just could tell what things they're going to lie about. I don't know if you guys read that little insert. They were saying, oh, Ukraine is making advancements. No, you're not. Why are you just lying? You're lying. On his way out of the White House, President Joe Biden is reportedly making a last plea for Congress for $24 billion in aid. Maybe I'll play this after. You know what? Let her talk about it. You guys let me know if you could hear it. No sound, Justin? Okay, let me just read it. Okay. No sound. We'll just go to the text. It says the White House office management and budget suggest that the Congress could fold in renewed aid into a solution to avert a government shutdown next month, according to the request obtained by Politico Pro. Several lawmakers saw that the proposal Monday and it features $8 billion for Ukraine security assistance initiative to fund U.S. company contracts to arm Kiev and $16 billion to refill U.S. weaponry stock per report. Who put that in the comments? I think it's Share. You are correct. But Biden can send money over to Ukraine and can't send money to help thousands of South Carolinas, Tennessees, and Floridians from the hurricane. And people lost their lives here in the U.S. And they giving them $750 checks or a loan that they got to pay back. And their property probably was decimated. And they there's a lot of stuff. People lost their lives and all kinds of crazy stuff. But we want to send $24 billion to Ukraine. And it says already some Republicans cried foul over the reported ass. Yeah, because you just slapped us in the face. Joe Biden just gave away $4.7 billion in your tax-paying dollars by unilaterally forgiving loans to Ukraine. Congress must not give him free gift to further sabotage President Trump peace negotiation on the way out the door. Any Biden-funded demands should be a DOA, dead on arrival, unless you guys don't know that. And look at this clown. It should be dead on arrival. Last week, the Biden administration informed Congress of its intention to forgive the $4.65 billion worth in Ukrainian debt. President Biden will make the case that we do not need ongoing resources for Ukraine beyond the end of this term. National advisor Jake Sullivan told CBS News, well, if you didn't need it then, you shouldn't need it now. Or no, if you don't need it at the end of the term, you shouldn't need it now. And then 2 years prior to this, if you could have stopped the war, which you could have, and you refused to, that's what you should have did instead of wasting $180-something billion of our money. The threat to Ukraine will remain no matter what exactly happens on the battlefield or at the negotiating table, and the United States should not walk away from its commitment either to Ukraine or 50 nations that will rally in defense of Ukraine in both Europe and Asia. But the United States, are the ones that's footing the bill. U.S. lawmakers passed a major tranche of aid to beleaguered ally back in April, nearly 9 months after Biden's first request in August of last year. After the lower chamber wrangled through a $61 billion Ukraine aid, they was nestled a larger $95 billion package. And Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene moved to House Speaker Mike Johnson. Ultimately, Democrats leapt to his rescue, but the ordeal underscores the dicey politics on furnishing new aid to Ukraine. The package also entails about $10 billion in economic loans for Kiev. To me, all of it should be loans. You want to fight? All of it should be loans. Why fund the war? What are we benefiting? What are we benefiting from Ukraine? So the minerals that's in Ukraine is titanium, lithium, manganese, and uranium, and iron ore. They said Ukraine has the largest titanium reserve, about 7% of the world reserve. So that's why we're supporting Ukraine. The natural resources from Ukraine. They have 500,000 tons of lithium available. All of this money, or natural resources, let me just share this page with you, that Ukraine has under their feet, and we're Okay. You guys, it just kicked me out. I don't know why. Well, I could tell you why. Because it just kicked me out. Let me see. Are you guys still... Am I in my stream? Yeah, I am. So if you're still there, I know I disappeared. I was gone. If you guys are still there, here with me. But this is basically my last story. Chase! Chase! I told them to vacuum, and now they vacuum during my live stream. Anyway, what I was getting at, Ukraine has a bunch of natural resources that the U.S. is interested in. They're interested in the minerals, titanium, iron ore, probably mostly the lithium and the uranium. They probably want to tap into in the titanium. And they do have natural resources of oil and gas and coal. They said Ukraine has a massive coal deposit. Okay, so you have that. And they're saying on this, this is from Eurasia. U.S. Senator says Ukraine is a gold mine with 12 trillion of minerals we can't afford to lose. Is it you or we as the U.S. or are you speaking of yourself to pad your pocket? So this is why they want us to fund this gold mine. A prominent U.S. lawmaker has referred to Ukraine as a gold mine, insisting West must maintain access to the trillions of dollars worth of critical minerals located in the country. They're sitting on $12 trillion. Okay, so why did we why didn't we loan Ukraine money for this war? Okay, we're all for it. I don't think they should lose their natural resources either. But why didn't you loan them the so many $1 billion that we gave them? And it says U.S. companies want these resources and Washington hopes to block China access to them to hurt its tech industry. This was June of 24 that they put this on X. Ukraine's war is battle for nations' mineral and energy wealth. And they got another post. Ukraine's ruling regime is increasingly anti-democratic. It's saying NPR is reporting that in 2020, Zelensky imposed state control over all media outlets. A Zelensky regime also banned all significant opposition of political parties, including numerous socialist, communist, and other left-wing parties, which deemed to be pro-Russia. Two former U.S. diplomats published in an article in Newsweek said Ukraine sure doesn't look like democracy anymore. So they lied. They basically lied to us. Did you guys? Now, when they were talking about, you put it in the chat, when they were talking about the Ukraine war, were they talking about, hey, they have a bunch of natural resources that we should tap into, and we gotta make sure China and Russia do not get a hold of these natural resources? Did they even say that? No, because they want to pad their own pocket. Their only interest is not of the American people. It's for themselves. That's why when you see wealth of a president or some of these leaders, politicians, when they come into office, their wealth versus when they leave office, astronomically, is a big difference. And matter of fact, the only president that ever lost wealth when they came into the White House was President Trump. he lost about $1 billion of his net worth. So that tells me the only president that is really for the people is President Trump and Ronald Reagan. If you look at Ronald Reagan's wealth, when he first entered office, it was like 10 million, and then when he left, it was like 15 million. That's not, and because he served Ronald Reagan, he served 2 terms, or no, just 1. Yeah, he served 2 terms. So over 8 years, his wealth increased $5 million. Well, that's just a good day if you buy a property or whatever. So we could say that's just normal. $5 million is not really that much in comparison to these other politicians. So it's funny to me that they talk about Donald Trump like he's is not for the people, but clearly we could see visible evidence that Donald Trump is actually for the people. Farouk said they can't let the public know. Trump wants to pull out this war and mine for all the rare earth minerals in Alaska. We have all we need in the U.S. Thank you, Farouk. We do. We have a bunch of natural resources that we need to tap into, and we haven't. We're just saying, oh, we're gonna let these other people, and I guess because you want to look good for climate change. I'm really kind of confused on what's the point. If we got a bunch of natural resources, you rather starve out our country and give other countries the go ahead to tap into their natural resources. It's still, if they're tapping into it, it's still quote unquote climate change. And a lot of people don't talk about how they did a study on the climate drift. All the things, all the pollution that we see over here, there was a study done that the pollution that's killing our ozone or atmosphere is really from China. And they called it a climate change drift. You guys look it up. So anyway, Farouk saying the owners of all the land were the same people Hunter was shacking down for protective or protection money. That's why the feds covered up the Biden crime family, the State Department and the CIA have. Exactly. Derivatives on stock is the bulk of politicians' wealth, a bet on failure. Justin is saying, plus Ukraine is a large international supplier of agriculture. Yeah, I mentioned in prior videos, I don't know if you guys know, we now are paying or receiving supply from Ukraine for seeds and all that stuff and all types of different agriculture supplies. So it's like you're funding this war, but who's benefiting from it? And you can't tell me the U.S., the actual American taxpayer citizens are not benefiting from it. It's the politicians that are clearly benefiting from this war. Tyrone said the CIA developed a lithium iodide battery in 1960 to enhance satellite performance. 2 days after a Russia invasion, they took out Ukraine natural gas pipeline. Awful funny how 115 U.S. tankers full of natural gas was sitting right there offshore to sell to Ukraine. Yeah, and you know what? And I'm a firm believer, and not to take off the sweat off Zelensky. I think Zelensky is just a tool in this whole scenario. And there's a tool. He's the tool, and then Biden's a tool, and you got the people on this puppet string saying, hey, this is what you need to do. So Biden is saying, hey, we're going to support you in this war, And we just need to we got to get the American people behind it. So they spread news propaganda saying, oh, you know, we need to protect democracy. No, you just need to protect your pockets. Anyway, so that was it. That was it for our live stream. You guys, I think my stream is acting a little bit better. But tomorrow I am going to do a live. It's going to be really quick, and to, you know, shout out happy Thanksgiving for you. So stay tuned for tomorrow. It more likely it'll be a little bit earlier than my normal live stream. So you guys make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. I am sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.